Well, uh, woo, y'all, if I could cede my time back to DJ Ome, I would, because I always feel like I'm just really getting into that when it ends. But thank you very much to DJ Ome and the folks on our team who made that happen. Although it's an event where I feel like I do never get breaks, because if we have DJ Omi in the breaks, I don't take the breaks, but it's worth it. But good afternoon for those of you like me in the East, on the East Coast. Good morning to others, and good very, very early morning, I suppose, to our friends joining from Hawaii. I am Elaine Mejia. I'm a member of Team Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. I use she, her pronouns. I'm really just delighted to be part of greeting you today on day 2 of new staff training. On the state fiscal team at CBPP, I serve as the Director of Network and Organizational Effectiveness. Fantastic team of people, most of whom you've had a chance to already meet as part of this gathering. I really thoroughly enjoyed spending the day and with some of you into the evening yesterday. I also want to say on a personal note, I was really delighted that the start of new staff training this year coincided with the start of Hispanic Heritage Month. I think back to when I first joined the network 19 years ago as a staff person at the North Carolina Budget and Tax Center. Other than me, when I looked around the network, I only saw, at least that I can recall, one other Latinx person. And now when I look around at who's in our community now, and when I look at the faces and the names of all of the people who have clearly joined in the past year and all those that are gathering today, I think, wow, how much that has changed, and it's fantastic. You know, I've also been really glad to be with you all this week, because for me, the news this week about this, the news breaking in the investigation, the whistleblower about the forced hysterectomies at migrant camps hit me really hard. So I've just also been glad not to be alone this time and to be with you all these last couple of days. I do want to say out loud the name of the woman, right, the Black woman nurse, Dawn Wooten in Georgia, who is speaking out and true allyship. And you know, in 2020, there is so much, you know, forced isolation because of the pandemic, and yet 2020 is really just no time to be alone. So it's been really wonderful getting to know many of you already, and I'm looking forward to getting to know so many more of you today. I want to thank you, especially just for all the energy and the ideas and the good cheer and the questions you brought to our gathering yesterday. We covered a lot of ground yesterday, as you know, really important ground. You know, we started off focusing on how when we center communities who face the greatest barriers, who've experienced the most oppression, that's really how we'll find the most impactful policy agenda, the relationships, the power building and power sharing strategies, and the narratives, and the funding and everything that goes along with it that will make the greatest difference for everyone. And we also, in that session, thought about how when we do the work to make our organizations truly inclusive, truly liberated workplaces where everybody's contributions are truly embraced, that's how we'll make the biggest gains towards our shared goals. And that's how we'll live out our values as a community over time. We also heard from some amazing network veterans about how things really work when we peek under the hood, how all the pieces, research, communications, outreach, partnership, campaigns, organizational development, all those things really work together to make change happen. And the 2 breakout sessions I was a part of, one was about the Loop, our online learning community, and the other about Communications 101, they were really terrific, particularly because we were just in such small groups and really started having those conversations and getting to hear so much from you all, so many of you, both with your great questions, as well as the great ideas that you're already bringing to the rest of us into this network for how we can make the work even better. And we've got some more important ground to cover today, which will end with some very fun trivia this evening or this afternoon, which I hope that many of you can join us for. And I do want to note that at the trivia session, you know, feel free, if you look around your bubble or your pod that you're in at the moment, and you have kids, partners, pets, roommates, they're welcome to join you and sit along your computer and join us and play and have some fun with trivia. So don't hesitate to bring others in. And, you know, now my role is to turn it over to the other half of our welcoming committee to you on day 2. We are joined now by Alejandro Queral, the Executive Director of the Oregon Center for Public Policy. I still compelled to almost introduce Alejandro, like we're all still in DJ Ome mode, right? Like, it's Alejandro from Oregon. But welcome, Alejandro. You should all know, because he might not tell you, that in addition to his role in Oregon, Alejandro also serves as the current vice chair of the Network Steering Committee, so plays an important role in helping to shape the vision for the future of our shared work. So welcome, Alejandro. And after Alejandro's done, you all will just, you know how to work the HOVA by now. You'll just exit this session and then head over back to the agenda and click into the first session of the day, right, about public speaking. So welcome, Alejandro. Thanks for being with us to just share some of your thoughts with our colleagues.
Thank you, Elaine. Really appreciate having me here. I appreciate it, the invitation. Good day, new staff. Welcome aboard. I wish I had the opportunity to meet all of you in person, but I won't have that chance, so too bad for me. But I hope you're having a glorious start to Hispanic Heritage Month. And by the way, for those of you wanting to celebrate through learning, I would encourage you to pick up the book by Eduardo Galeano, The Open Veins of Latin America. It's a compelling history book about the history of Latin America. But if you, don't have the energy to read something educational, then I would highly recommend John Leguizamo's Latin American History for Morons on Netflix. Very educational, even with some cringe-worthy moments. It's worth the watch. In any case, I'm Alejandro Caral. He, him, his are my pronouns. I'm executive director of the Oregon Center for Public Policy. I've been in this position for the last 2 years. So just 2 years ago, I was in DC. Going through this training and feeling completely lost. I wasn't sure what the network was about, but after 2 or 3 days of this training, I came out feeling much stronger. I felt like I had a support system behind me, and so I encourage you to learn as much as you can about the network. I'll tell you a little bit about it. As Elaine mentioned, I'm now vice chair of the SAP Steering Committee, which provides strategic direction for the network. And in my role, I oversee a staff of 3 analysts and a communications director and 2 support staff. And our focus really is on structural policy change that will ultimately lead to the elimination of racial disparities and the creation of an equitable economic system. This is, of course, a very lost vision, but it's an important one to hold close to our chest. And the truth is that our work can be very slow, or some would say methodical, incremental, and it is frustrating. So it's sometimes easy to lose sight of the big picture. So what do? I think the important thing to do is to rely on this network, draw inspiration from your colleagues, seek support from staff, whether you're a researcher, fundraiser, administrator, or executive. I think the SFP team will have your back. And I think today, in the second day of your training, these workshops will give you a sense of the tools and strategies that have proven successful, both in practice at the network and across, I think, a series of progressive organizations that constitute sort of the internal backbone that makes this network strong. So in research, communication strategy, fundraising, there are tools and strategies that are the product of many years of trying, of research, of failures, and learning from those failures. From experience, one of the things, having gone through this training a couple of years ago, one of the things that really struck me and I thought was one of the most useful ones, and perhaps more challenging sessions, was the public speaking session. Even in this time of social media and virtual meetings, public speaking remains one of the most effective methods of persuasion. So I invite you to practice during the session, count your uhs and ahs, and really jump at every opportunity you're giving to speak in front of an audience, whether in person or virtually. And I would say that I am particularly excited this year to see anti-racism as the critical lens through which we conduct our research and analysis as a network and as individual organizations. And that is the focus, or an important focus of your training. At Oregon Center for Public Policy, we're crafting a strategic agenda that prioritizes policies that will lead to that structural change and to those anti-racist outcomes. So that means that we're crafting a 5-year strategic plan to build the advocacy and communications infrastructure needed to advance this goal. And frankly, we couldn't do it without the support of this network, both in terms of the learnings that we have been able to gather through the experience of other organizations, and through the experience that we share with all of you through the various methods, whether it's the loop or through other opportunities that the network creates. But as I said a minute ago, Our work can be very slow or methodical. It is certainly incremental, and it is at times, often actually, frustrating. But we must not lose sight of that big picture. So my takeaway message today is this. First of all, be patient. Take care of yourselves. We're in a difficult time, but rely on your colleagues. At your organization, at SSC, at the network, there's a community of like-minded folks that will have your back. Here's my other takeaway message, because I only offer 2 for 1, and that is that together we are stronger. Look to other states, learn from other states, share your successes and your failures. What makes the network strong is its ability to learn from each other and the ability to leverage our collective power. We're only as strong as we're tight. So enjoy your training, learn as much as you can, and rely on your colleagues. Feel free to reach out to me anytime with questions, ideas, or if you want to bounce ideas or whatever. I'm happy to talk to any of you at any point. Thank you, and I hope you'll have a great and productive day. And thanks for the opportunity to talk to you all.
Thank you so much, Alejandro. See you soon. Talk to you soon. I hope you and your team are all well. I know we're all following along with the fires and how communities are suffering and being displaced. We're thinking of you and your colleagues and your families. See you again soon. Folks, head on over to the agenda and we'll see you in the public speaking session. Have a great day, everybody.